What's up, Glenn? What's up, Waddy? Ryan? We waiting for Pass to come back in. Hopefully we can get it right this time. Sorry for this inconvenience, guys. I see you on, Pastor. Send me a request. What's up, Talia? Thanks for joining. Send me a request, Pastor. What's up, Glenn? Getting ready to have a good conversation with Pastor. Make sure you send those questions. All right, I'm sending you a request, Pastor. 1 second. What's up, Lindsay? JoJo? I can hear you, Pastor. Just can't see you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, but I can't see you, brother.
I got good Wi-Fi, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I got good Wi-Fi.
Give me a
Let's
second.
make it happen.
I'm trying to make it happen now, man. I can hear you clearly, but I just can't see you, brother.
Hey, man. So you guys can see me out there. How about anybody else? Let's make it work.
Now we can't see you. Let me see.
Oh man, you see that's
Yeah,
send me a request, man. I don't know how to
okay.
send.
1 second. I don't know what's going on, but we gonna get this right. Okay.
Go. That's better.
It says connecting. I can hear you, but I just can't see you.
Oh man, I don't know what's good. I got 100 bars, man. I don't know what's going on. Let's get the questions going till we get the video. How you guys doing? Hey Melody, how you doing? I can see everything, but y'all can't see
See
me.
everything? We can't see you though, man.
Well, that's
We
probably a
can't see.
blessing. I don't want y'all to see me. I look rough anyway.
No, we gotta get you. Keep on working on your end because they can see me, but they can't
All
see
right,
you.
well, send me
So
send
we
me one
gotta
more
keep.
request.
I know. It's a
But
lot of people on here right now that want to see your face, man.
I want to see their face too. What's up, Robin? How you doing, Robin? Hey, my baby sister, my wife, on everybody's on me. Hey, Nick, how you
Hey,
doing, baby?
Melody. Hey, everybody.
How you doing, baby?
We gotta give
Yeah.
Pastor some
Y'all don't get off
IG
though. Y'all
live
stay on though. Stay on. Stay
101.
on.
Let me see if I can do something here with this setting. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try something. I don't know. Pastor. It might be on your end. Okay. Go live. There we go. Oh, wifey said you're used to her setting it up for you.
Yeah, I did something
We
different.
need you today, wife.
I know, right?
We need you today, Miss Venable.
And JoJo hates how it come to Team iPhone.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
It may be a C thing tonight.
Huh?
I want everybody to stay on, man. Don't get off, man. I want to talk to you guys, and I think this is a blessing, man. So I really want to be a part of it, man. This a radio interview now. Charlie, we from Southeast, make it work.
Hey, look though, but on your phone, there's no indication that says video or anything. It
It
says
doesn't
just
it
turn
doesn't
video
say.
on.
Listen, this is what you do. You keep your guys on. Keep talking. I'm going to reset my phone, and I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna try to get this right with Pastor really quick. Make sure he can get his phone together. Miss Venable, can you help him out a little bit? Show him how to get on. Again, thank you all for joining. We're gonna have Pastor Venable come on with us shortly once his camera on his phone pops on. We can hear him, but we can't see him at this point. So we're just waiting for him to pop back in, reset his phone, and we're gonna get right to it. But again, we definitely appreciate all of your support and all of you chiming in. I talked to the pastor earlier. He said he has a lot of Jews that he's going to drop today. He's a phenomenal individual. He's, in many respects, someone who's been very impactful in my personal life. So I just really want to dive deep in this conversation, and I want you all to be able to see him. Great, great, great individual. So who's on? Hey, Kim. Hey, Mel, Mike. What's going on? Yeah, Mike, I see we can't see him. We're trying to work on that now. What's up, Brian? Thanks for joining. Hey, Janelle, thanks for joining. Yeah, okay, he's back. Let's see if this works this time.
Man, I don't know what's wrong, man. I don't know what's wrong with your IG, man.
Oh, it's my IG.
It's your IG,
This is
man.
the first one for me, man. This is the first one for me.
I don't know why it's doing that, man. I don't know why. And I got all these bars, man. I'm ready. I got all these bars.
It still says that it's connecting them. It says connecting. So let's
Really?
just let it run through for a little while. You know what I mean? But let's just dive into it. You know, let's see. Hold on. Something, indication just popped up. 1 second.
Y'all stay on. Don't log off. Y'all stay on.
Oh yeah, he has some good content for you.
Yeah, y'all stay on. Don't log off. Stay on.
Exactly. I have all of my bars over here. You sure you're in a perfect Wi-Fi location,
I'm in
Pastor?
a perfect Wi-Fi location.
Because it popped up initially. You did come up for a while, and you were frozen. So whatever you did or wherever you were getting better service. Enough service for you to pop up on the screen. I think he went out again. Okay, 1 second. Y'all stay tuned. This is going to be a good one. All right. You. That sounds about right.
It's in Mike, Android. Y'all
So
pay
look,
y'all.
all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go with the audio then, for the
That
sake of
sounds
time,
good.
right? Because I
Let's
know
make
you're
it
a
work.
busy man. I know. You got some other things you got to do this evening. But for those who don't know, this is Pastor David Venable. Comes from very humble beginnings. Born and raised in Southeast Washington D.C. Has accomplished so many great things in his in life in general. And I'm just want to first thank you for coming on, you know, and taking some
Absolutely,
of
man.
your time out of your evening or your busy schedule to bless our platform. So thank you so much, Pastor.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor, man. I really appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know you on the platform, I know there's a lot of family and friends that chimed in, but for those who don't know you, Pastor, let's go beyond the successes, before the successes. Let's go all the way back to your background, how you were raised, you know, where you come from, what shaped you. Did we lose him again? Oh, gosh. Pastor has to get somewhere where it's better Wi-Fi. We lost him again, Vito. Thanks for joining, Sharonda, I'm sorry. Yeah, Tina, we lost him again. Okay, 1 second, Vito. I'm going to send you a request really quick. Well, send me a request. Let's see if it works with you. hold on, Pastor. We're gonna see if it works with someone else, just to make sure it's not on my end. 1 second. Yeah, so we good. I can see you clearly. Hold on, Pastor. We're gonna see if it works with someone else.
Can you see me, Charlie?
I can see you. I can see you perfectly.
Okay. So we know that our system is working. I'm gonna go ahead and chime out and tap them back in, Charlie.
All right, cool. Pastor, are you on? Okay, I'm gonna send you a request. Let's see if this helps any. So it should be an indication that I sent you a request. Can you hear me, Pastor?
I can hear you, but I can't see y'all. I'm kind of.
Okay, boom, there you go. Whatever you're doing right
Oh,
now.
look at boy!
Where
Look at
are you?
what he
You in
doing.
LA somewhere?
Boy! Look at God, man. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Look,
Look,
you stay right there.
I said,
You stay
man, I
right
lay
there where you
hands on
are.
this thing. Nah, Vito ain't gonna show me up. I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all ain't gonna show me. Y'all got me twisted. I'm a pastor. I'm still from Southeast, though. You feel me?
So we on. Okay, so
What's
stay
up,
right
man?
there.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
Pastor,
I'm sorry, man.
so like I was saying, I've already read your bio, and a lot of people have
I
stuck
appreciate
around
it.
to see you. So, we got to drop some
Man, I
real
see,
jewels
man.
today.
I am honored, man. Hey, Vito, Premier, you try to sabotage me, but you know what? But I'm not gonna. I'm still praying for you. And Mike will,
All right, so let's
and
get
Mike
right
will
to
say,
it.
Mike will say, I need an iPhone. But go ahead, get right to it. Hey, my wife gonna be preaching at 9 o'clock. Make sure y'all tune in on her live. Go ahead.
Absolutely, we coming right back, and we're gonna speak on that in a few. So,
There we go.
Pastor,
Yes,
tell the
sir.
people who don't know you, who tapped in to hear your story, your background, where you come from, what shaped you, what molded you.
Actually, man, I'm from Southeast DC. Born and raised in Ward 8. I've always been to. I went to every Ward 8 school. I went to Bernie Elementary School. Went to Highland, Furby, Hope, Hart Middle School, or Junior High School, Blue High School, and was raised in Condon Terrace, Southeast DC. One of my biggest motivators. Let me say motivation was my brothers, my oldest brothers. If you all know about DC, I have 3 older brothers, and each of them spent time in Lawton. That's back in the day, Lawton.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and back then they were mean to me, which I thought was being mean, but they really wasn't being mean. I was a smart little kid, always had 4.0, always had a good head on my shoulders. So they wouldn't let me hang with them. And each of them spent at least 10 years apiece in Lawton. But they never let me hang with them. They always, kept me in school, and I didn't know why. And sometimes God will place you under people that see something in you before you see it in them, in yourself.
Wow.
And yeah. And my brothers, they may not have known it, but they saw something in me. God allowed them to see something in me that I didn't see in myself. And they couldn't name it, but it was on me. And a lot of times God will place something on you, and it will put people in your life to protect the thing that he placed on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know it, and they don't even know it. Oh man, that's crazy. Who did that? Oh my God, y'all
Voila,
petty.
that's the power of technology.
Oh my God, y'all petty. Y'all petty. Those my brothers. God, I'm the one with the big old head in the corner. I'm glad you covered my head, Charlie. But oh my God, that's crazy. But yeah,
Right.
but God will always place people in your life that will see something on you, and they don't even know they're being used by God, and you don't even know what's going on. But they motivated me, and I went on to graduate from Blue High School. I was the only boy in the top 10. Went to Bowie State University, got a degree in English. I know I'm talking this slang, but I got 2 degrees in English. I can fix it when I want to. But then
Yeah,
I
that's
went to
right.
seminary and everything.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been good. What's up, nephew? Cray TV, that's my man. I love that boy. Yeah. So, but that's where I'm from, man. And where you come from will always establish you and prepare you for where you're going. So
Right.
it prepared me, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, coming from, a family, I mean, you're 9 siblings, you know what I mean? And you said
Woo.
3 were incarcerated, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine and your mom was a single mom, correct?
Yeah.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine that it was a lot going on in one household. Tell the people about
Yeah.
just growing up in that environment with older siblings that were, you know, in and out of the streets and, you know, in different scenarios growing up that may have
Yeah.
where you technically could have went in the same path as your brothers who served time in
Absolutely.
Logan. So tell the people,
Absolutely.
like, what made you, you know, want to approach your direction, go in a
You
different
know what?
direction than your brothers?
You know what? And I love that word direction, Charles, because the thing about it is we can be going in one direction, but that doesn't mean it's your destiny. It doesn't mean it's your destination.
Right.
Everyone will go in a direction that's contrary to their destination. Now, I could have gone in that direction, and quite frankly, sometimes I did go in that direction, but it wasn't my destination. And so, even though I didn't know that God was calling me to be a preacher, I never imagined being a preacher. You know me, man. I'm
Right.
from
Right.
Southeast DJ,
Exactly.
Coach DJ. I suspended you a few times, been administrator at Baloo High School in the day. But
That's
I
a
never
fact,
thought I would
y'all.
do it.
He used to be
I know,
my. He
right?
used to work at.
I,
He
I
used
know,
to work at
yeah,
Baloo when I
yeah.
went there.
That's a whole different story, man. And the
Yeah.
crazy part about it, you never know what's your destination.
Mm-hmm.
But God will protect you in order to prepare you for where He's taking you.
Mm-hmm.
So God protected me, even though I didn't know where I was going. Y'all great with these pictures. Even though I didn't know where I was going,
Yeah.
God protected me in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to be prepared for my purpose. And somebody out there right now, you don't realize it, but the reason why you're still here because God's protecting you because there's a greater purpose for you, and that's what it was on my life. You know,
So you know how when you come up
they're
and
crazy.
like you said, you've been in times where you were doing things and going in the wrong direction, one step away from getting yourself in trouble. What was that turning point? What was that turning point for you? What was that something that clicked that
You,
made you
you
wanted to say, you know what?
you know what it was, Charlie, and it's gonna shock a lot of people. And only a few people know this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was teaching at Blue High School, or the dean of student at Blue High School, um, I wasn't even in. Oh my God, look at Tim and me, man. Where y'all getting these pictures from, man? Oh God, y'all killing me. And this is so relevant to the
This
story
is
because Tim.
Baloo. Yeah.
Oh my God, because Tim, Kevin, and J Rock was my sons, and they were like oh God, man, that's crazy. But Charlie, the crazy part about it is when J Rock got murdered in the school,
Yeah. Rest in
that
peace, J
changed my
Rock.
life. Yeah, that changed that, and people don't know that changed my life. I wasn't even a preacher then.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even a preacher. I was a coach, and his mom asked me to speak at his funeral, and I was like, what? And I was like, and I went to Reverend Motley, talked to Reverend Motley. He talked to me, this and that. So that's the first time I really, hey man, how you doing, man? Good. That's the first time I really did a real sermon at J Rock's funeral. I never was in the pulpit before. I never was behind a podium, and that changed my life. You know, it changed my life, and it made me it pulled out something that was already in me that I didn't know was in me. The Bible tells that God placed His treasures inside of us in earthly vessels. His
Wow.
treasure has always been inside of me, but I didn't know what's in me, and I couldn't believe that God would place His treasure in trash.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tapped into it during J Rock funeral, and I never ever missed another day of church. And voila, I became Dr. Venable, the pastor, you know, and it started at J Rock funeral. Yeah, man.
Wow.
What's up,
Wow.
Mike? Man? How you doing?
You know, that's amazing that you broke that down because I've never known that. You know,
Yeah.
I
No,
didn't know
nobody.
how
A
you
few
kind
people
of.
know it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a great story. And for those
Yeah.
that don't know, James Richardson was an all-star football player that went to Baloo back in 2004. He was slain inside of his school, and that was a turning point in a lot of people's lives. It was a very, very, very powerful event that really shaped and molded a lot of people's lives in a negative way in some respects, and stories like yours that are
Yeah.
positive way. So that's
Yeah.
huge. So speaking, so those times when you were in Baloo, you know, you had, you know, like you said, you already had those treasures inside of you, right? And one of the things that us as a nonprofit organization, in fact, one of our pillars is mentorship.
Hmm.
At that point where you were going through that transitional phase, who were some of the individuals that you can name that were impactful in your transition and played a mentor role in your life?
Well, always, Reverend Motley was always my spiritual father, my spiritual advisor. He's been in the front for War Day for years, almost 40 years. Coach Cyrus was pretty good for me. I mean, he told me how to write my first check. But
Wow.
even then, when he told me how to write my first check. And the crazy part, I still have the check that he wrote me 20 years ago, my senior year when I graduated. He wrote me a check and told me to start a bank account. I didn't do it because I was so honored, and I kept the check, and I still have the check. Look at me in Highland. That's crazy. But yeah, so he gave me my first check. And even my walk now, I mean, my biggest influence is Bishop Glenn Staples, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes, man, he's rough. I mean, I love Bishop T.D. Jakes, but he is rough. He will make sure that we are I'm putting together a good foot. I don't change a whole lot of stuff because of his toolage and because of, oh my God, y'all good around here, man. Oh my God. Look at y'all, man. He's been mentoring me, man. He's been putting me look, and the one thing about him, you're scared to fail when you're being mentored by Bishop Jakes. You know, so look, and you got to make sure every dot is crossed. I mean, every I is dotted and every T is crossed. But yeah, but those are some mentors in my life, and more than anything, my mom, man, she was everything. You know, she was
Shout out to
everything.
Mom.
Yeah, mom was everything. She was everything. Anything. She didn't come to a lot of stuff, but I knew that if I asked and I needed her to, she would be there. Anything I ever wanted from her, she was always there, and she did a marvelous job, you know, mothering me. So I mean, those mentors has always been in my life. My wife now, she pushes me when I'm down now. She pushes me to the point where I hate to be pushed. You know, oh man, you doing good, man. Oh my God, look at you.
Shout out to
Oh
Pastor.
man, she's too
She's a
good.
pastor too, right?
Yeah, she's a preacher.
And I want to come back to that because I definitely want to tap into some questions about the institution and marriage. But
Yeah,
before that,
absolutely.
I know we talked about you know, the passing of J Rock and how that affected you and helped you with your transition in life.
Hmm.
And I'm going to
Yeah,
fast forward a little bit because through everything that you've been through in your past and leading up to now and all of the successes and some of the things that you're still aiming for.
yeah,
You recently, a couple of months, had a tragic death in your family. One of your brothers. I knew him personally as well, Clarence Venable. Great guy. One of the best sense of humors that you can possibly, you know what I mean? He was just a funny individual. You in a bad mood, you come around here, he's gonna make you laugh. You know, and one of the things that was inspirational for me, because you know, coming up in Southeast Washington D.C., gun violence, you know, is one of the things that's plaguing our community. And you know, dealing with something so close to home like that is not easy for anybody to bear. You know, I'm sure that everybody on this line has has known someone who was a victim of gun violence that was close to them. And sometimes just that redemption through that and that pain that you deal with can easily take you astray. Can you let the people know who may have dealt with that or maybe dealing with it right now who's on, you know, the best way to deal with that type of pain because you dealt with it phenomenally. You were
man.
you were doing IG lives. You were, you know, you went through your time where you were a little down, but it was so you snapped out it so quick. And for many people, it's
Yeah,
not easy to do that.
yeah,
So tell the people,
yeah,
how do you deal with not harboring that pain and moving
yeah,
forward?
yeah. The first thing, Charlie, is to be honest. I was determined not to allow the enemy. Look at my brother. I was determined not to allow the enemy to see me sweat. I was determined not to allow the enemy to see me down. I was determined not to allow the enemy to see me defeated. But I was all those things, but I wouldn't show it. I was defeated. I was hurt. It was hard. It was really hard. But I was determined not to allow the enemy to see me that way. And because I was hiding from the enemy, people like you, my friends, you know, my followers, they didn't see it either. So it was tough. It was tough. However, God spoke to me because I was in a down place. I was in the dark. I was in the dark, and I preached a message this past Monday, and you all can join me every Monday morning at 9 a.m. I had to put a plug in at
Absolutely.
9 a.m. Monday
The
morning
Monday
on Facebook.
manna. Yes, indeed.
Monday morning manna. Yeah, I was preaching a sermon, Charlie, man, this past Monday. And I was telling the people, I met God in the dark, in a dark place. I kept reaching for God. I kept fitting for God, and eventually, every time I was about to give up, I would touch God. And it's not until you're in a dark place that's when you really have an encounter with God. And so in my dark place, I met God, and then God told me, he said, man, you got to start practicing what you're preaching. He said, he showed me, he said, 3 years ago, you preached a sermon. It had to go down like that. He said, you told the people, guess what? Trials and tribulation will always pull something out of you. It will always pull something out of you. And you don't know what it is. You don't know what it's gonna pull out. It's gonna pull something out. And instead of me sitting there dying and sitting there laying down, I decided, guess what? I said, guess what? My brother was my hero. He was my biggest cheerleader. Man, he did everything for me. He protected me. And I heard him, and I heard him and God say, no, you got to get up and keep going. And I decided, man, to keep going. And one thing I would say is, God, my brother told me, and I'm not being spooky or anything like that. My brother spoke to me one night. He said, guess what? He said, one day, and I heard him clear. He said, one day, he said that the pain will never go away, but the tears will stop flowing. He said, and it's gonna happen sooner than later. He said, get up, bro. He said, get up. And I live by that. And I believe that was him. He said the pain would never go away, but the tears will one day stop flowing. You will always be crying, but the tears will stop flowing. And I decided, guess what? I got to do something. I didn't make it as far. I mean, it's time that he saved me. It's time that I should. Hey, Charlie, man, I can't even tell the stories on this place, man. I mean, we have the same social security number with one number off, you know, and we 12 months apart. It was times where he saved me, and like I said, God put him in my life on purpose, for purpose. And God will put people in your life on purpose, for purpose. And he was the one that was in my life to make sure I get to where I am for such a time as this, you know. And I miss him, you know. And those of you who's going through stuff, and we're in the coronavirus, you may have lost someone, you may be going through a tough time. Guess what? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I'm telling you, man, this too will pass. It may feel like it's not gonna get better. It may feel like the world is caving down on you, and it may be true. But guess what? God said He'll never put anything on you that you can't handle. And guess what? Everything that's happening in your life is for a reason. We may not like the reason, but guess what? It's for a reason, and God will see you through it. And that's what I believe, Charlie. That's what I believe. And it hurts. It hurts every day. Every day I miss my brother.
Right.
But I believe in everything that he believed in. And one thing I said at my brother's funeral, and I moved from here. One thing I said at my brother's funeral, I wanted my brother to grow old, but God allowed me to see him grow up. Yeah, I wanted to see him grow old, but God allowed me to see him grow up, and it was a blessing to see my brother grow up. It'd have been such a shame to see my brother the way he was back in the day, and he died that way. He died making an impact. He died making an impact, and so I was allowed to see him grow up versus growing old.
Wow, that's powerful. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give, like, you know, because we have some of our mentees on right now. They come on this platform and they seek knowledge from individuals like yourself. And
What's up, J5?
quite
I'm
frankly,
sorry.
a lot of them are dealing with, you know, some of the
Midland Warriors.
latest incidents that have happened in their communities. And, you know, sometimes they have a heart of vengeance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes they feel like, you know, is against all odds at that point, you know, and it's on sight. What advice would you give, you know, one of the youngsters that's on right now about how to just, you know, dealing with it, getting past it, and seeking that help that's needed?
You know what, man? To be honest, Charlie, man, grief is inevitable. We're gonna always have grief in our life. But it's how we handle it. It's how we react to it. And the advice I give to people, I'm not trying to be deep. I'm trying to be the Southeast pastor. Y'all branding me as the Southeast pastor. But listen, but to be honest, man, if you trust God, a lot of times we try to understand God. God is not to be understood. God will put some stuff in front of our face that will test us, Oh, it will test our faith. It will test our humanity. It will test our spirituality. But if you will trust God, if you would trust God, if you would trust God and lean not to your own understanding, I promise you, understanding does not, when they say trust God, it doesn't mean agree with God. You don't always have to agree with God. I hate it when people say don't question God. No, you need to question God, because guess what? It's some stuff that only God can answer. And so it's times where I question God. I say, God, why? What are you doing this? Because if I don't question God, nobody else can answer these questions. So I question God. Guess what? I'm not disrespectful, but I question God because we have that type of relationship and friendship. And guess what? He'll answer you. You may not get the answer you want, but God will answer you. And if you trust God, and trusting God does not mean you have to agree with it. But at the end of the day, it's well with my soul. You got to find peace in God's answer. You got to find peace in God's answer. And I tell people all the time, a lot of time, it's nothing you can say when somebody loses a loved one. It's nothing you can say. But guess what? The ministry of presence, just being there for them. That's why you got to surround yourself around folk who understand grief, who understand the word of God. Because guess what? Sometimes you just need some folk around you. It's no spell that can make grief go away. It's nothing I can say can make grief go away. But guess what? I'll be there until you get there. And that's why you got to get around folk. Yeah, absolutely. My wife was there the whole time while I was grieving. I was in a sunken place. I was in a low place. But guess what? She didn't say number 2 words. She cooked every now and then. I stayed in my basement. She'd bring food down. She didn't have to speak. Guess what? Sometimes the ministry of presence is the best ministry ever. And if you get some folk who love you and understand you and know your purpose, guess what? They will stick with you until you get over it. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times we try to be deep and give scriptures. Guess what? I lost a brother. I lost a father. I lost 2 brothers last year. You know, and people don't realize that I lost 2 brothers last year and a father. And guess what? And nothing you can say, no scripture can help me. But if you can keep leading me to the rock, I'll be good. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna read some of the comments. See if we got any. So Tina said, "You better say it." Cray TV said, "Indy looks up to you." Teacher Ross, shout out to Teacher Ross, coming in, showing up is half the battle. We got another comment from Cray TV that heart of vengeance is powerful. Trust me, it is. But when you overcome that, then you can get through whatever. One way to overcome it. Think about how many other people need you.
You know who that is, Charlie?
Who's that?
That's Clarence's son. That's Jawan.
Oh,
that's
okay,
my nephew.
man. Shout out to Jawan, man. Thanks for
That's my
chiming
baby
in,
right
man.
there, man.
Thanks for
He
chiming
looked
in,
like me.
man.
He stole my face.
So,
He
Melody
looked
said
just like
amen.
me. Yeah.
White said amen.
Amen.
So let's talk about some of the present endeavors that you have going on. As I read your bio and everything, you're the founder of Redemption Church. And after everything that you've been through in your life, growing up in Ward 8, Connoisseurs, and the trials and tribulations of growing up in a poverty-stricken community, now look at you. Your life. Tell the people how did you get into the position that you are in right now to be able to be the founder of the Redemption Church?
Yeah.
And how was that process for you?
Well, like I said, I've always been a little fake thug, but a nerd on the inside. But I was a profound writer. I've always loved writing. Poetry, essays, and I actually got my degree in English education and literature from Bowie State University. BSU, okay, Bowie. So it's my Bowie. They get that. Y'all don't get it because y'all ain't from Bowie State. Yeah, but no. I was a part of the church, and God led me to start a church, and it grew in numbers. And eventually, Bishop Staples became my pastor. And traveling with him, I got to meet so many people, people like Bishop Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Bishop Sherman Watkins. I mean, you name them, I met them through Bishop Staples, and now I'm trying to read these comments as well. And now God has really placed me in rooms that I never even imagined, Charlie. The one thing about it is the Bible says this: Like even right now, I'm outside, but I was doing a live. I had two live schedules. I forgot I didn't tell you this. I had two live schedules, but it worked out good though because we're
Yeah.
doing a cave, we're doing a man cave live in the house. Me and
Okay.
Pastor Staples, Byron Cage, the singer Byron Cage. Yeah,
There you go.
y'all said it right
Yeah.
there. They're in the house right now doing a live. But guess what? I said I cannot leave my Southeast folk out right now. Look, I got this little
Much
Michael.
love.
I cut
Much
it off.
love.
They on there. I'm gonna catch the last part of it. We just doing a random live. Me, Byron Cage, Pastor
Much
Staples.
love.
Yeah, we all in that thing right now. But we social distance, so this is real distance right here. I'm really out the distance. But no, man. But the Bible says your gift will make room for you. And I want y'all to hear this, man. All you all out there, the Bible says your gift will make room to you, make room for you. That does not mean your gift will get you in the room. Your character will get you in the room. It's a lot of gifted people that's not in the room. It's a
Exactly.
lot of anointed people that's not in the room. It's a lot of smart people that's not in the room. It's a lot of people who can sing, who can dance, who can shout, who can preach, who's not in the room. So when it says your gift will make room for you, it does not suggest that your gift will get you in the room. Your character will get you in the room. The way your presentation will get you in the room. So the way you treat people, that's why the Bible said, Jesus said, I will know you for your love one for another. The way you treat people, the way you serve people,
Mm-hmm.
that will get you in the room.
That's
And once you
powerful.
get in the room, your gift will keep you in the room. That's what it means by your gift will make room for you. Meaning that guess what? Because your character, because your demeanor, because your attitude has been right with God, because this is my son who I'm well pleased with, my daughter who I'm well pleased with. Now you're in the room. And now people will notice you and your gift will keep you in the room. So I got in the room with Bishop Jakes. I got in the room with Bishop Walkers. And because the way I acted, the way I carried myself, it
Mm-hmm.
got me in the room.
And I wanna talk on
And
that
then,
shortly.
yeah.
But I
Mhm.
just pinned the question from Vito Permit that came in. His question is,
Yeah.
since churches are the unifying source in our black communities, what can churches do to stop gentrification and promote community prosperity?
Say it one more time.
Since churches are the unifying source in our black
Mhm.
communities, what can churches do to stop gentrification and promote community prosperity?
You know what's crazy, and it's gonna sound crazy, and I know you may want a deep answer with that, bro. But to be honest, I think that more preachers and ministers need to run for office. I really do. I really do. And the reason why I
I
say that
heard that.
because, yeah, because in DC itself, you gotta understand, gentrification didn't stop with the community; it stopped with the churches. It's no major churches in DC. All the DC churches had to sell, and the reason why they had to sell their churches is because what happened was DC took away their parking. So all the major churches in DC are now in Maryland. The historical churches. Only church left in DC really that you can name is Union Temple and Temple of Praise. But most churches have been forced out. So because they've been forced out, now they're in Maryland. And so now that's where the gentrification has started. Y'all got me into politics now. Listen.
Hey man,
so,
it's the
so,
moment of
so,
truth.
so listen, man. I think that first of all, I think that the church, just like Temple of Praise, what we're doing now, we're back. We've been a presence in the community. We're giving out food. You all helped us with that as well, Charlie, with your organization. But I think the church itself has to get back to being the face. But guess what? The church is not a building. The church is the people. A lot of people like to say what the church gonna do. What you gonna do? Because if you are part of the church, then it's us. It's not a building. A building has never raised its hand ever. A building has never raised its hand in the history of the world. It's the people in the building that makes up the church. So what we can do as a people now, as a church, we can get behind the community and the constituents to push it forward. But guess what? It's a collective thing. We all got to do it together. And I really believe that the church still has a voice. It still has a hand. I think it's long enough to reach City Hall. But guess what? It's going to take all of us because right now the churches are closed, right? But guess what? It's closed because the people are not there. That's why it's closed. So what are we going to do together? But
See,
I do respect that question. I think it's a collective thing, and I'm with it. You already know me, Charlie. I'm fighting with you guys.
absolutely.
If you all tell me to meet you down DC jail, meet you down City Hall, I am a pastor who will follow you and meet you there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think he had a follow-up question. Why is that? I thought religion institutions had special rights.
What kind of special rights? You
What's
gotta
up?
be
What's
more
up, Day Day?
specific. Be more specific, Vito.
So while we waiting on that, we'll go back to that question.
Yeah,
Take your time.
cause Vito, my man.
Yeah.
I know you got a
For,
legitimate question, so help me out, Vito. What you saying?
yeah.
Go ahead.
For the sake of time, though, I know we spoke a lot about your relationship with TD Jakes, and he's one of the biggest pastors all over the world. You traveled the world with him. You preached with him in different churches and different sermons all over the world. Tell the people about that experience in itself. And I know you noted him as one of your mentors. So let the people
Absolutely.
know about that experience and how that's been impactful in your life.
I mean, it's been life changing. I mean, just having a father figure and a mentor, period, will be life changing. But to have one in the likes of Bishop T.D. Jakes, man, who man, you good, man, who believe in you. First of all, it says that he believes in you. He sees something in you, that you may not see in yourself. You know, it can be an ordinary person. I mean, even you, Charlie, you're not going to deal with somebody you don't see that you don't believe in. You know, if you don't see something in that person, it's no way you're going to get connected with them. So the fact that he allowed me to connect with him, it was assurance in itself. You know, that I do have something. You know, and look at him at Bishop Staples. That's good. Boy, you good. But just to be traveling with him and meeting all these different types of people and it make you want to do better. I became a better man behind it. I became a better preacher behind it. I became a better husband behind it, just because seeing a model of what it is to be a man of God. And a lot of times, just because you are something don't mean you know how to be it.
Mm.
Let me say it again. Just because you are something does not mean you know how to be that.
Mm.
I was a man of God, but doesn't mean I knew how to be a man of God. Just because you're something don't mean and guess what? You need some folk to mentor you and help shape you into what you already are.
That's
I've
fact.
always been a man of God. I've always been a pastor before I even knew it.
Mm.
I've always been a preacher before I knew it. But guess what? Everything you're ever going to be, you're already it. But you need some folk in your life to help shape that.
Right.
And I just thank God that I got the greatest mentor in the world to help shape that. And we all need somebody to help shape us into what we are. The Bible says that in Jeremiah that he told us to go down to the Potter's house, and it's ironic that his church name is Potter's house, but he said go down to Potter's house, and he said the Potter will make you and he'll shape you, and he said he had the clay in his hand. He said, and he shaped the clay, and he then, and when he realized that the thing that he made was not good, he remade it again. He didn't get a new piece of clay. He didn't get any new ingredients. He remade the same clay that he already had in his hand. And the fact that he remade us and didn't get any other ingredients mean that we are everything that we have everything that we're ever going to be. He remade us again. The Bible says he remade you again. But the whole time he was remaking us, we've always been in his hand. And as long as we're in his hand, whether we good, bad, indifferent, ugly, guess what? We're going to be all right as long as we're in his hand. And so I've always been that pastor. I've always been a preacher, and I've always been in God's hand. But He placed me in a position where I can glean from those
Yeah, that's a
preachers
fact. Because
and those leaders,
you were
man.
definitely a preacher even beyond Baloo. You will
I
pull us
know.
to the side and give us a sermon for sure. So I that's definitely true. But I did want to go back because you wanted Vito to dive a bit deeper into his question about the institutions having special rights. And I think his follow-up question was where they could not be moved.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I knew. See, look. I know Vito. I know he's smart. But I was like, what are you talking about? But I knew he had something smart to say. So what happened was, they didn't make them move, Vito. But what happened was, when you take away the parishioners parking, the church folk won't come. You know how black folk are. We ain't coming. We ain't got no parking. So it forced them to move. They couldn't make them move, but it forces you to move to Maryland because it's parking in Maryland. And so that's how they did it, Vito. So what they did is downtown, and it's all parking zones and all these signs and stuff. So the church folk can't park there. And so after years and years, the church folk can't park. What's up, nephew?
I just came to be in your live.
Yeah. Look, this my nephew's Pastor Staples, son.
What's going on, man?
He thought what's going on. He'll blink me too.
Oh
Look, yeah,
yeah,
he a
he
Blakely
looked
too.
like
Yeah,
one.
everybody said, I know. I thought he looked like Quabine. He looked like Quabine, don't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah. So they forced them out because there wasn't no parking. And when you ain't got nowhere to park, guess what? As a pastor, you got to make a decision: do I stay here or do I go by a building in Maryland where I can park? And that's what happened.
got you,
Yeah,
got you. So I just
yeah.
picked another question that came through from JoJo. You know JoJo personally, and his
That's
question
my
is,
guy.
can you explain why it's so essential to be coachable? He's a Ballou alumni as well, so
Yep.
that's his question to you.
Well, it's imperative because you don't know it all. You don't know it all. Let me tell you this. I preached a sermon one time, and it's a funny story. You got the picture up. I preached a sermon one time, and I heard, and I thought I asked Bishop Jay. I said, "How did I do this and that?" He said, "It took you 2 hours to say nothing."
Wow,
If that's
yeah,
deep.
that's tough.
He said it took
Yeah,
you 2 hours to say nothing. You preached so long and you ain't say nothing. So
I
guess
tell
what?
you,
That's positive feedback.
mm-hmm.
So you don't know. Guess what, JoJo? Let me
Constructive
tell you this,
criticism.
yeah, and I'm gonna get off here. He said it took you 2 hours to say nothing. Guess what? You're not your audience. You're not your audience. Guess what? You can't go by what you like. You can't go by what you know. You always have to learn from people who are in the same field you're in. I told my son, Kevin, who's probably on live right now, we had a big fight. He was started coaching this and that, and he's a great coach now. He was horrible when he first started. He just thought he was the God's gift to work, but he was horrible. I said,
Yeah,
"Do you go to you go?" I said, "You
yeah.
go to coaching clinics?" He said, "Why would I go to coaching?" I was like, "Bruh, you have to go to coaching
Got
clinics.
to
You have
perfect your
to hear from
craft.
other people, other perspectives." And now he has not missed a coach. He loved coaching clinics. He may teach at coaching clinics now. But guess what? You need somebody who's already done it and has a different perspective than you. Even if they haven't done it long as you need different perspectives. Because
Mm-hmm.
guess what? 4 eyes are better than two. So guess what? You will never see everything about you. I can't see everything about me. I got to rely on what you all say. That's why I put up posts. How did I do in my life? How did I do in my Monday manner? Somebody say you went too fast. You talk too fast. You
Yeah,
preach too hard. Yeah, that's feedback. Your feedback will be your fuel. You cannot block out your audience. Always listen to their feedback because you can't be effective unless you know what affect them.
absolutely.
That was from heaven. Boy,
Absolutely.
that was from heaven. That was good. You can't be effective
That was
unless you know
powerful.
what affect your audience.
That was definitely powerful, man. Thank you
Absolutely.
for that. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so I do have a question. So for the sake of time, I do know that you have another live that you have to do with your wife.
I'm gonna get y'all one before I leave. I'm gonna go right downstairs while y'all live, and I'm gonna jump in there, and you all gonna see the crew.
All right, cool. We're gonna get a sneak
All right.
peek at the life of Dr. Pastor Venable. Okay, cool. So, but I just pinned another question. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question, considering one, you're happily married and your wife
Mm-hmm.
is on the live right now, and I know how much you love your wife. I've heard so many great things about her, and I look forward to meeting her one day. But
Thanks, Macy.
tell the people, because there's so many broken homes in our community, in the African American community. Um, Tell the people your perspective on why you think the institution of marriage is so important in the African American community.
I think it's important because when you can find that person who understand you and want the best for you, it will help you become the person that God will have you to be. That is a cute picture. That's a cute picture. She's funny. It will help you become everything that you would never ever become everything God created you to be if you don't have the person that God ordained for you in your life. And marriage is important because you'll never ever make a great impact in your purpose or on your purpose if you don't have that special one. And I think that with not only Black community, I think all communities. And I know we're going through a tough time right now. I'm praying for the family of George Floyd, the young brother who was murdered by the police. Oh, yes, he was murdered. It was not police brutality. He was murdered. I'm praying for that. But our community itself, I think we're lacking love for one another. I think we're lacking love for one another. And the first example of love in the Bible was that God created man and He created woman with man. That was the first act that God created, and it was a shadow of what God was going to do. Because the Bible said, "For God so loved the world." He so loved the world He gave. God so loved us that He gave us. He gave to us. And so what happens is when God gives you something, it's an act of love. And He give it to us so that we are in order for us to love as well. And I believe that when you find the right person that will love you, your flaws and alls, guess what? It'll push you to where God is taking you. And let me talk to the single people. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. The worst thing you do is rush into something that God did not ordain. Don't you feel bad? Don't you feel dismayed? Don't you feel discouraged? If God has not shown you the right person, do not rush it. Because guess what? Me and my wife, we've been through some tough times, tough seasons. But guess what? When God gives you the right one, He'll last through the tough times and tough seasons. The wrong person will never ever last through a tough time nor a tough season. Get the right person. The right person will love you through thick and thin, through rumors, through lies, through truth. They will love you in spite of. But don't you rush it, because if you rush it, you ruin it. Yep. So I think it's very important. I think it's part. But the Bible says you have to, a man have to find that wife. Guess what? I think the best place to find a wife is in church, man. Go to church, man. Y'all get yourself. Look at that picture.
People
Y'all
tell
go to
me the
church.
best. I'm not married yet. People tell me the best place to find a wife is in the grocery store.
In the grocery store.
Yeah, I've heard. Have you heard that one?
I never heard it, because guess what? Most of the wives in the grocery store, they go in the grocery store because they cook for their family.
Oh yeah, that's true. See? I don't know if I'm gonna take that one.
Oh
All right,
no!
so look, I know you gotta go soon. So before you go, I definitely want to ask you, like different. Of course, you've done a lot of different studying. You went to school, and you're just a scholar in itself. So you do a lot of self
Thank you,
development
Jack.
as well. If you could drop some books on the viewers right now, some book
My wife said make
recommendations.
sure she's not in the dinner section. Go ahead, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. She can't be. That's a fact. That's a fact. So, book recommendations for those who may be looking or seeking self-development, higher thinking, transitioning their mind, reconditioning themselves, whatever the case may be. If you had a couple of books that you could recommend to a viewer that's interested in learning about.
Listen, God. Like my wife already know. Listen, this is the gospel right here, dog. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. My first gig with Bishop Jakes was his tour for Soul, the book called Soul.
Soul? Is that soul?
Soul, like you soar, like an eagle.
Okay.
SOER. And I went on tour with Bishop Jakes with his book Soul. And that's one of his, I think it was maybe his first book. That wasn't a spiritual book. It was a business book. Oh my God, but of course it was spiritual as well. Listen, it got all the way in the top 10 for the bestseller in the New York Times. Soul. Get soul. Get soul. When I tell you that book is an amazing literary work to read. It talks about entrepreneurship. It talks about self-development. It talks about believing in yourself. It talks about how the Wright brothers, and I'm almost done with this. The Wright brothers, who got credit for creating the airplane, they were not the first one to create the airplane or try the airplane. They were the first one who got the right wind. So what happened was many people came before the Wright brothers and created an airplane, and it did not fly because they had the wrong wind. You got to make sure you have the right wind. In other words, you have to have the right season and the right backing behind you for your idea to flourish and soar. So this book talks about having the right wind, having the right timing. It does not mean your idea is not good. It means, guess what? You have to just revamp some things. Never give up on your idea. Never give up on your development. Never give up on what God showed you. Guess what? It does not mean that you're bad or the idea is not good, but guess what? You got to find the right wind for your idea. The right wind. The right wind.
Wow.
What's up? What's up, Dr. King? Yeah, the right wind. And guess what? A lot of times we give up too fast because we think the idea is not good, but the idea is great. You just don't have the wind behind it. The airplane can't fly unless it has the right wind. So they had to move from there, from the area they was in to a different area in order for the airplane to fly. Sometimes you got to move somewhere else in order for your airplane to fly. Sometimes you got to move in another direction in order for your idea to fly. Sometimes you got to go in a different direction in order for your ministry to fly. Don't give up on your ministry. Don't give up on your idea. Don't give up on what God showed you. You just sometimes have to move. You have to move. You have to move.
Can
That's what
everybody on the live give him a round of applause for
man,
that?
you
Put the clapping hands
sometimes,
in the
and
comments
don't
for
be
him,
a
man.
Charlie, watch this,
Please.
Charlie, and don't be afraid to move. It's okay if you got to move. You got to relocate in order to elevate. Sometimes you got to relocate in order to elevate, and there's nothing wrong with relocating, especially when you're going higher. Thank you, Dr. King. Guess what? Sometimes you have to relocate in order to elevate. Don't be afraid to move, because your next move will be your best move.
Absolutely. So with that,
oh, bro,
look,
you good.
I want to thank you for
Move.
blessing this platform. I know you got a lot going on.
Bless me.
For the remainder of the night. If we're gonna end, if we're gonna end with this, I want
Jojo, my
you
man.
to speak a little bit and lead the people with this purpose.
Purpose.
That's
Purpose.
the topic.
Purpose.
Speak on purpose.
I got 60 seconds. Purpose. Purpose. One thing I learned about purpose, bro, is purpose is in you whether you know it or not. And nothing you can do or nothing you know where you've been can interrupt God's purpose in your life. Your past can't interrupt God's purpose. Your friends can't interrupt God's purpose. Your family can't interrupt God's purpose, and your finances can't interrupt God's purpose. When God's purpose is on you and in you, no devil in hell can stop you. And one thing I love about God is the Bible says many are called, but few are chosen. God will call you. Everybody is called. God will call you. God will put something on you, but the chosen part are those who accept the call. And what happens is we got to first understand that God does not need you. God do not need you when he called you. God do not need you. Guess what? He wants you. And a lot of times we think we like to be needed, but it's a blessing not to be needed. It's a blessing to be wanted, because a need only is effective because you have something that is tangible or that is a blessing to that person that needs you.
Absolutely.
That's why they need you, because you have something that will bless them. But when somebody wants you, it doesn't matter what you have. Guess what? I simply want you. And God said, I don't need you. I want you. You have nothing that God needs, but the fact that he wants you will define your purpose. God wants us, and that's why we have purpose. And no matter where you've been, what you've been through, guess what? The fact that God is asking for you, it suggests that you have purpose. I always want to end with that. Guess what? You have purpose because God wants you. Folk may need you, and folk may not want to be with you, but it's fine because God wants you, and because he wants you, you got purpose.
Absolutely.
Tap into that.
That's powerful, Pastor. Thank you
Tap
so
into
much
that.
for joining us.
Somebody shout God. I need somebody to type right here, God want me. Yeah,
Yes,
God
everybody
want me.
type in
God want
God
me.
wants me.
God wants me. God wants me.
Yo, we
Put it on
got a minute
Facebook,
and
tag
34
me.
seconds.
God don't need me, he wants me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, before we go, we got a minute and 30 seconds. Tell the people about the platform. One, that your wife is getting ready to get on at 9 o'clock.
Listen.
And then the other ones that you got
Boy, I
going on
love
so
you.
they can find
Listen. All right. Listen, guys, I'm going back in the house because I know they wait for me. Guys, I'm going back in the house. Listen, Mike. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? What's up, y'all? Listen, my wife got to she's going to preach at 9 o'clock. She's a dynamic preacher. She's a better preacher than me. She can preach her lights out. Just get on there. She's on Facebook Live and IG. Guess what? She's going to preach the roof off. I need you to log in on Victoria Venable. We'll preach her Thursday night ignition. Sorry. She preaching at 9 o'clock. Make sure you get on, tag her, repost it, comment. And then every Monday at 9 o'clock a.m., I am teaching a relevant word that's going to change your life every Monday on Facebook Live. I need you to come on every Monday, 9 o'clock. I need y'all to promise me right now that you're going to make it tonight and tomorrow. And Monday at 9 a.m. We love to see you guys. It's the Venable, Dr. Venable, Victoria Venable. Listen, we are on there, and I hope that you all can make it. Thank you. Ward 8, stand up. Ward 8, make sure y'all vote. I don't endorse a candidate, but make sure you all vote right, do it right, make sure you get out. All right,
Absolutely,
Charlie,
man.
love
Love
you,
you,
man.
brother. Thank you so
Love you
much for
too, man.
joining, man.
You dope, man.
All right, man.
You
See
dope.
you soon.
I appreciate you, man. Love you, man.
Love.